Hello viewers, hope you all are doing absolutely fine. So from this video I am going to start with the series of class 9th biology, and in this particular video I am going to start with unit first, that is basic biology, and under basic biology I will discuss chapter 2, which is cell. So today we will see the subtopics under this particular chapter, which is cell, the unit of life. And the part which I will discuss are what is cell, inventions and discoveries, of cell, and the points which are mainly featured in cell theory. So let's start by knowing that what is cell. So we will start by knowing that what is cell. So cell is known as basic unit of life. It is a basic unit of life, and this basic unit of life can perform and the activity at cell level is known as cellular activity. So cellular activity are very important to perform function of an organized organ system of a human body, or the unicellular organisms are totally dependent on this basic unit of life to perform its life activity. And all living organisms that have cells are known as bacteria, plants, and animals, fungi also. What we don't include in cellular organisms, so basically they all are cellular organisms. And what we don't include in cellular organisms, which are known to be non-cellular organisms, they are viruses. So viruses are known to be non-cellular organisms. So why we are calling viruses as non-cellular organisms? If you know the reason, then please write it in the comment section. Otherwise, I will definitely let you know. So the living organisms, bacteria, fungi, plants and animals are having basic unit, that is cells. But despite having the basic unit, each organisms vary from each other. So if I take an example of bacteria and animal cell, suppose in case of animal cell, I will take an example of human cell. So the difference between the two is that bacteria are known as unicellular organisms, whereas human beings are formed by multiple cells. So we will see in little detail about the bacteria, which are unicellular organisms, and human cells, which are multicellular organisms. So unicellular organisms are different from multicellular organisms, and we are differentiating here bacteria cells from human cells. So bacteria are mainly single-celled organism. Single-celled. And because of this single cell, this particular cell is only responsible for multiple functions. So basically bacteria, we know that they can't be seen by our naked eyes. We need microscopes. And what characteristics we are able to identify that the multiple functions are performed by this single cell, which is for bacteria. And we can say that this single cell of a bacteria is a complete organ system for them. Activity like ingestion of food, ejection, and the waste product moving out of the cell, the multiplication of the cells through asexual reproduction, everything is performed by the single celled. So this single cell can be said as an organ system for the bacteria. But in case of multicellular organisms, when we are talking about human cells, the human cells are having specific cells for specific function. What does this mean? We know that in our body we have organ system, and the organ system in our body is formed of tissues, and tissues are formed from the complex of cells. They are formed of complex of cells. So what we can see here, that human beings are having specific cells, and these specific cells are forming a complex, and by the complex of cells the tissues are formed, and these tissues are forming organ system, and these organ systems are having a specific role. Like for digestion we have digestive system, for respiration we have respiratory system, for excretion we have excretory system, for reproduction we have reproductive system. So different organs are present in human body, and these different organs are formed by complex of cells, and these complex of cells are specific with the specific formation of the organ system. So this is the difference between multicellular organisms and the unicellular organism. Now one more point I would like to add here, that some unicellular organisms are kept in the categories of animals also. For example, amoeba. So amoeba are also unicellular organisms, but they have nucleus in them. That's why they are eukaryotic organisms. Now eukaryotic organisms are different from prokaryotic organisms. So bacteria are the example of prokaryotic organisms, whereas amoeba are eukaryotic organisms. So what is the meaning of prokaryotic and eukaryotic? So prokaryotics are basically those which are having a false nucleus. So in bacteria, the nucleus is known as nucleoid. So this nucleoid is having no nuclear membrane, and this is known as naked genetic material. And it is present, and the DNA of the bacteria are in a circular form. This is like this. So nucleotide is known as the genetic material for bacteria, and this is the circular DNA which is present in bacteria. Whereas in human we know that we are true nucleus organism, that's why we are calling the multicellular organisms eukaryotic organisms as well. And true nucleus is present within the nuclear membrane. So these are some of the points that differentiate from unicellular organisms from multicellular organisms, and despite having a common basic structure, that is cell, we are able to see the difference between bacteria and animal cells, which is a complex being. So we had learned here that cells are the basic unit of life for both uni and multicellular organisms. So we can see here that for an organ system also the basic unit is the cell, and the complex of cells are forming tissues. And for bacteria we can see that the single cell is performing like a organ system for bacteria. Antony van Leeuwenhoek used self-made simple microscope and used biconvex lens, and the magnification power for this simple microscope of Antony van Leeuwenhoek was 200 times. The next compound microscope was used by Robert Hooke. It was used by Robert Hooke to identify slice of cork, and the magnification power for this compound microscope was 50 times. Now in today's world we are having improved compound microscopes, and the eyepiece which we mainly use is 10x, and objective lens which we use is 100x. So we can change these eyepiece and objective lenses, and the lenses which we use in compound microscopes are also the convex lens. So the magnification power, if we use eyepiece of 10x and objective lens of 100x, the magnification power goes 1000 times. So the improved microscopes are with improved eyepiece lens and objective lens. And the third most advanced microscopes which we are using today are the electron microscopes. Now electron microscopes are very special to identify the minute to minute structure, and the beam of electrons are used to identify the structures in electron microscopes, and the magnification power for electron microscopes are around having magnification power up to 2 lakh times. So the electron microscopes are the most powerful microscopes in today's world, and these electron microscopes were first discovered by Ernst and Knoll. Now I am sharing with you the chart in which the discoveries and the discoverers are mentioned. You can take the screenshot or note down the names and the inventions stated in. The third part which we will see here is that the cell theory, the points which are featured for cell theory are, so the points were given by Matthias Schleiden and Theodor Schwann in 1838 and 1839. So Schleiden was the botanist and Schwann was a zoologist. what they both found was that the plants and animals, they both are composed of cells, and the difference what they had seen is that the plants are having cell wall, otherwise both animals and plant cells are composed of cells. So that's why when we are saying that cell is a basic unit of life, is on the basis of various discoveries and inventions which were done by so many scientists. So the first point which was featured is plants and animals are composed of cells. Now the second point was later added in 1858, which was given by Rudolf Virchow, and he said that all cell arises from a pre-existing cells. So all cell arises from a pre-existing cell means that cell divides, grow, reproduce. So in case of unicellular organism, as we had seen in bacteria, or in case of amoeba, the asexual reproduction will take place in and from the parent cell the daughter cells are going to form. But in case of multicellular organisms or in human being, we can see that the reproductive cells are formed, which is known as gamete cells, and the fusion of gamete cells that forms the zygote, and zygote is the first form from where the life starts for a living being or human being. So that means the cell divides and grow. That means the proliferations of cells, the increasing number of cells will help in the development of an organisms, and the division of cells are playing role for both growth and forming the reproductive cells or gamete cells, or in asexual reproduction the cellular division is forming because of the asexual reproduction, the whole parent cells forming the, if we are giving birth to new generation, or we call it a daughter cell. So this is all from this video. In my next video, I am going to discuss about that smallest the cell is having the greater efficiency. So next part is again very important. So if you like this video, please give a thumbs up. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to my channel. If you have any query, write it in the comment section.